Oh, ho, ho, ho. Hmm, happy Yule. Oh, happy Yule to you too, Father Yule. Well, Xena, so what brings you here? Well, I feel that this year you're going to need some outstanding help when it comes to giving all those gifts out this year at Yule. So I thought that I would help you with that, since I have many skills. Yeah, Mother, you do have many skills. And at the end of the day, I think helping Father Yule out, giving gifts on Yule would be a good thing. Yes, it is a good thing. I give out those gifts, to show on look to God who gave Jesus as a gift to all mankind and all womankind. So I show that same kindness and that same forgiveness that Jesus himself showed, and that same love that Jesus himself showed when he was alive. Well, I just want to know, do you still fly with reindeer, with a sleigh and all that? Well, to answer that asking thing to you, Gabrielle, yes, I still fly with reindeer pulling my sleigh. I know that a lot of folks would think that by now that I wouldn't be doing that anymore, but I still do. Yeah. So when you want us to, well, sometimes the old the old ways are the greater ways, right? Yeah. So when do you want us? So when do you want us to start? Anytime you're ready, Xena and Gabrielle. Anytime you're ready, you can start now. So, do you have to give gifts out? I mean, how do you do it? I mean, there's no way that you could fly all over the world in one night. I mean, it can't be done. Even the fastest sky ships in the world still can't get anyone around the world in one night either. Well, the truth is, Xena, I cheat. I don't go around the world in one night. I go around half the world because, as you know, Western Christendom does Yule in the 12th month. So I only go to those land bodies and go to those lands and give gifts out to those houses, and that in on Western Christendom's Yule. Then, as we all know, Eastern Christendom does Yule in the first month. So then I got to go to those land bodies, go to those lands, and give gifts out of those houses. So, no, I don't go around the world in one night. Well, I would say, because that would have been hard for anyone to do. And here's something I want to know. How do you know when someone's been good or someone's been bad? Oh, God and Jesus give me that insight. They let me know who's been good, who's been bad. But they also tell me that all those sins and misdeeds that, for whatever grounds I'm keeping a reckoning of, which I shouldn't be keeping or why I'm doing it, they tell me that every sin and misdeed is forgivable. So I also, so even though they have a reckoning of everyone on the good list or the bad list, everyone sins and misdeeds are forgiven by God and by Jesus. Well, I want to know, how do you know when someone's awake and someone's asleep? Oh, Gabrielle, once again, God and Jesus give me that insight. It's kind of hard not to take the upper hand on it. But the truth is, I only know when someone's awake. Okay, like they woke up and that's it. Or they went to sleep, they fell asleep and that's it. That as far as what God and Jesus let me know. So anything you want for Yule this year? Well, what I want for Yule this year is I want the lamb toy that I had many years ago. The one I call Lamb Lamb. Well, I can see what I can do. I can see what I can do about, getting you that toy. But at the end of the day, we should all know that the true gift, that Jesus is the true gift. I know Jesus is the true gift. I know Yule is Jesus' birthday, and we are not on looking a day, we are on looking a happening that happened. You're right, Gabrielle. It is not the day we on look, it is the happening that we are on look for. And Father Yule, a lot of folks will say, oh, Jesus wasn't born in the 12th month. Well, the truth is that early Christian folks believed that Mary got with child with Jesus in the 5th month of the 25th of whatever year that was. And you put 9, if you go by and if you somehow offshoot 9 months into it, then he was born on the 25th of the 12th month. So that's where they came up with his birthday, even though it's true the Holy Book doesn't say, Well, I guess that is true. The Holy Book doesn't say, and a lot of folks out there, that's true. But I know that you're always on looking at birth of Jesus, a wonder that God did, that God felt that mankind and womankind were worthy enough to have their sins atoned for, to have those sins cleaned away, and to have a stead in heaven. That's right, Xena. God so loved the world and so forgave the world for its many sins and misdeeds. God does not like sin. God does not like misdeed. But God also is loving and forgiving as well as being righteousness. So God sent us Jesus, the only man to live a sinless, flawless, holy life, and the only ones who through his beatings and through his death would mankind and womankind be atoned for those sins and misdeeds. Would they get those sins and misdeeds cleaned away, and that they would be clean enough to be worthy enough to be in heaven with God and Jesus. Yeah, I know. I mean, at the end of the day, I know that. I know we're sinful. We're still sinful. We still make mistakes. We still say and do things that sometimes we don't know our sin. We make sins, even though from our thoughts or by our deeds. And sometimes we do things we don't know are sinful, or we should know are sinful, or we don't know. But I do know that God and Jesus love us and forgive us for those sins that we know we made and the sins that we don't know we made. And that God and Jesus thought we were worthy enough for that forgiveness, for that love. Yes, right, Gabrielle. You're right about that. God thought mankind and womankind were worthy enough to have the gift of, to have their sins atoned for and washed away. And God loved mankind and womankind so much that he was willing to put his own son in that bind to have those sins atoned for, to have those sins washed away. And that Jesus trusted and loved his Father God enough and loved mankind and womankind enough that he went through all those beatings and he got put to death. And that God and Jesus loved us that much that each one was willing to do those things. So at the end of the day, yeah. But I still need help of getting the gifts, buying them, put them on a sleigh, getting them out for you. Oh, don't worry, we'll do that.